Welcome into Bengals Breakdown. Billy Beebe with you, talking about the latest with the Cincinnati Bengals. Dane Brugler, shout out the University of Mount Union, from The Athletic. He gave his latest mock draft. We'll see what's happening with the Bengals in that one. I think it's really interesting, so it'll be fun to kind of break that down. And then a little Lions-Bengals dealing, back and forth, free agents, trades. These two may be connected from what we are seeing lately. I think it's going to be really interesting to dive into that also. So we have a little bit planned for you on a weekend to see what's up with the Cincinnati Bengals. You know how we do on the channel. But do want to ask you guys to begin the show, what coverage do you guys want more of as we kind of trickle through and get through everything going on with the Bengals? Is it draft content? You can type D for draft content, T for trades, get some mock trades out there, or F for free agency. There's going to be a ton going on with the Bengals. We wanted to ask you guys and get to all the latest, so make sure you let us know down below. All right, Dane Brugler gave his latest mock draft, and he's got his beast coming out. He's a big draft guy. He's all locked in with The Athletic as far as their draft coverage. Brugler is top of the line, so when he puts something out there, we do like to recap it, talk about it here on the show. For the Bengals specifically in Brugler's mock draft, it was interesting. It was very, very interesting. To no surprise, really, that it was interesting for the Bengals. So, the first four picks, I don't know, not really too crazy from Brugler. Gave his thoughts, and again, Mendoza 1. I like Arvell, Reese at 2. I think that's interesting. Buckeyes and Carnell Tate getting drafted. Then you kind of keep moving forward. Some more interesting picks. Browns going in division, going with their hopeful left tackle of the future, David Bailey, who's been discussed for the Bengals. He's in the mix there. And Jeremiah Love falling back. That's something to note. That's something to look at, that if he gets to 8, maybe the Bengals would be interested in really upgrading at that position. And then, unfortunately, the big one here for the Bengals, the Chiefs right in front of Cincinnati, going with Caleb Downs in this one. And the tough part is, we know how badly we want Caleb Downs in Cincinnati. I feel like that's not like an overly crazy, thought in general. A lot of Bengals fans want Caleb Downs, so to see him go at number 9, it's kind of killer, right? So that leaves the Bengals at 10 with no Caleb Downs in this Brugler mock draft. And Brugler goes Rueben Bain Jr., who we have talked about many times on this show, and we've done that because, hey, we need to be ready for a Caleb Downs pick. We have to be ready for a non-Caleb Downs pick because in this scenario, one team ahead, right? That's all it takes is one team ahead of the pack. They take Caleb Downs, and then all of a sudden the scrambling could begin for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think it's going to be really, really interesting what Brugler had to say as far as Rueben Bain Jr. and the connection with the Bengals here. At this early juncture, defensive line is an overwhelming favorite to be the Bengals pick because of his tweener skills and lack of length. Bain is one of the more polarizing prospects in this draft, even if he falls short in a few areas. However, he is a stout run defender with relentless power as a pass rusher and can kick down the door to the pocket. I have talked about Rueben Bain on this channel before. The arm length thing gets mentioned at a weird rate with him. I don't know if that's just such a hang-up for people that his arms aren't crazy long for a defender. But for me with Rueben Bain Jr., only thing I've said, real deal. He is the real deal. Dominated Ohio State, made Ohio State look goofy. I expect him to do good things against Indiana, other teams he plays against. I have given him my stamp of real deal. And I really don't see it as any sort of loss just because of the arm length. And this is where you're going to have to pivot if you don't get Caleb Downs. You can see here Brugler has the Bengals pivoting and going with Rueben Bain. So, you grade it. What grade do you give the Rueben Bain Jr. pick for the Bengals? A, B, C, D, or F? Let us know down below. We always want to hear from you guys. We like to hear from you guys, letting us kind of know what's going on with Bain and your thoughts and draft picks, and get involved in the show. Comment now. Again, I will just add my personal thoughts with this one, and the arm length is just not going to drive me off of him. You got to pivot. You got to go for something else on defense. Highly productive, bull rush, big, strong, proven pass rusher. Why not, right? That is a perfect way to go, in my opinion, which is Rueben Bain. That's Rueben Bain in this scenario. I like it for the Bengals. I think it's great for the Bengals. And, there's really no need to, fret about arm length. Look, probably a national contender, if not national title winner, defensive line, bulldog for the Miami defense. I would gladly take Rueben Bain. It's not going to throw me off with the arm length stuff. Other guys to consider, you can take a look here in that area. Again, if you want to try and reach for a true need, if the front office really feels like, hey, we have to have a defense tackle, then you are going to see a guy like Peter Woods. I like Sonny Styles too. I think that would be a great addition for you if you're not sold on your linebackers. And then some of you guys are concerned about the secondary here. I think the same thing. Jermod McCoy, can play safety too, maybe cornerback. Mansour Delaney is a cornerback. So, you got more options. You definitely have more options there on defense. Want to let you guys know, I got a deal for you, but you got to take advantage of it fast. This one is going to go away in just a few hours. Go to chatsports.com/T-jersey to get your hands on this orange T. Higgins jersey. I want to put an emphasis on the orange. There's also a couple more jerseys with the same promo code, which is Trophy. Yes, Trophy is the promo code. And again, this is going on for just a few more hours. When you go to chatsports.com/T-jersey, you get 25% off with the code chatsports-T-jersey. So, again, this is about taking advantage of it quickly here, guys. Only a couple hours remaining on this one, so make sure you guys head out and go take advantage of the deal and get your hands on this T-jersey. Chatsports.com/T-jersey. We have the links down below in the comment section and the description of today's show. All right, let's get to the Lions-Bengals connection here. We got a report, a list given out from A to Z Sports that David Montgomery is a possible trade candidate for the Bengals, for the Lions. The Lions are going to have to make moves. That window, I think it's closing or closed. And when something like that happens, pivoting begins for a team like that. So A to Z Sports had this trade idea, I'll call it, for the Bengals and Lions to get connected here and make this deal happen. Other teams involved, top trade fits there for Montgomery. Niners, they could use a backup or more help. Falcons looking to retool. Raiders looking to, Montgomery's the elite number 2 or /number 1 or whatever you want to call it. So a lot of teams are going to be interested in making it happen. A to Z Sports, though, listing the Bengals as somebody that could get involved. Their idea, the details behind it, the Bengals get David Montgomery and the Lions get a 5th-round pick. This is an interesting trade overall. A 5th-rounder, that's right in the middle where you're kind of getting involved. That's high-ish, but not crazy high. It's one of those things where it's like, how comfortable are you giving up something like that in this scenario, which is I'll ask you now. Would you trade a 5th-round pick for David Montgomery? Again, I think he is one of those special number 2 perfect fit running backs in the NFL. When you've got him and another running back, Chase Brown, in that scenario, you can kind of do really well with that 1-2 punch. Let me know down below. Would you trade a 5th-round pick for David Montgomery? Why for yes and for no? And a look at what Montgomery has been up to lately. Gotta like it. Again, he's played his role and had his moments, and whether it's Chicago or Detroit, I personally think he's just done really well with the opportunities he's been given, and I think he has earned the opportunity he has now to be a difference maker for a playoff team. It didn't work for Detroit last year, so I'm sure he'll be looking for it in the future. Some details behind Montgomery's contract. I think nothing crazy there. I think the Bengals, who I don't call them a budget team, but they do have to watch their money just because of literally how much of it they've spent already. They do have to pay attention to what they would owe in different years for 26 and 27. And, of course, I'm sure the Lions would, like to get him off for the savings. And, look, you do have to consider you have a good running back. right? I think that is relevant to the conversation here. I think Chase Brown was really good last year. He was specifically good when Flacco got cooking. I don't know how the Bengals can maybe turn that into something again and bank on it, or if it's like, hey, they think they could thrive with a two-man set here. So Montgomery, definitely a very interesting trade candidate for the Bengals. All right, you guys, subscribe. Make sure you hit that sub button right now because we are continuing with our coverage. We asked you guys earlier what type of coverage you would want for the season for the Bengals. We're going to keep it going for you. I know a lot of people ask, like, now that the season's over, what do you do? It's keep covering the Bengals. That's what we do here on the channel. We will keep covering the Bengals and everything going on with them, and you name it. We are doing it here with the Cincinnati Bengals. So, be sure you guys are locked in with us, subscribed with us, because we're going to get you that info all off-season long. Another former Lion, former Bengal that we could see get to Cincinnati is D.J. Reader. Yes, you remember D.J. Reader. No stranger to Bengal fans. And there was a social media little moment there where the rumor could be that he'd be interested in coming back to Cincinnati and being a part of the Bengals in 2026. Interesting for me. This is very, very interesting for me. And we'll break down the stats here in just a second because this would kind of help you fill a gap at the least, or at least take something off your plate as far as thinking, do we need to deal with defensive tackles still? Feel good about a veteran guy in the room, right? You get Reader out, or you get Reader in, and then you're not really as worried about that position because at least you get a little depth. We'll talk about his stats in just a second. But would you bring DJ Reader back to Cincinnati? Do you want that nostalgia, that difference he made a couple years ago, or do you have concerns about him now? Type 1 for yes, you would bring DJ Reader back. Type N for no, you wouldn't bring Reader back because these stats, which I'm gonna get lined up here for you. I mean, they are kind of telling of what he's been. What have you done for me lately? Right? Isn't that the age-old term for DJ Reader and whoever else? And yeah, the last 4 seasons, hard to tell if it's a fall off or a misstep. Right? You see some struggles of not getting to the football, the tackles for loss going down, the fumble recoveries, the pass breakups, all going down for DJ Reader. So that's one of those moments where you kind of have to say to yourself, do you want him back? Do you like that idea of him coming back? And DJ Reader, man, he had good times in Cincinnati. You like some of the things he did in Cincinnati. I think it'd be good to get him back with the guys and get him back with the group. However, you still kind of have to figure out your situation at defensive tackle, right? That is a big deal for the Bengals. That is relevant to the Bengals. Their situation at defensive tackle, how Reader can play into it, what they've got going at defensive tackle now and into the future. It definitely feels like a position they want to fix, but we will see what the Bengals decide both on Reader and on the future as they head into 2026.